So what happens when you take this modest Renault 5 Campus and you bring it up to date with the modern Clio engine? I'm Beardy and welcome back to Twin Engine Corsa, where we dive in to these incredible builds with these insane engine swaps and show you what's involved in these creations. Keep going, keep going, keep going. God, that screams, doesn't it? Let's start from the very beginning with this car.
Basically, I started modifying daily cars, then it went into wanting a project car. That project car was a Mark 1 S3, and I was trying to save weight on the car, and someone within the group said, if you're trying to save weight in the S3, you need a new car. So I put it up for sale, and a lad messaged me with this in a rough state. Basically, he was really ill with cancer, and he said, I can't finish it. Do you fancy doing a swap? So I thought, why not? I heard that my dad had had these in the past, obviously the turbo ones back in the day. My mum had learnt to drive in one, so I thought, I'm gonna have to give it a whirl.
What state did it come in?
It was rough. It was a standard 1.4 manual. The guy who had it before him had done like very untasteful mods. It was like 40mm Halfords universal arches, self-tapped into the quarters. But the inside, to be fair, he did a lot of leather work on the inside. It's all custom leather stitching on the door cards and in the rear quarters as well. My plan was to turn it back to a standard Campus and sort of do a sleeper build that way. But when I'd removed the universal arches to the rear, he'd already cut the rear quarters. So I was eyeing up the idea of a dimmer kit with bodywork and paint. It just seemed way out the picture, so this was the next best option. It's various parts. This isn't one kit that I bought from anyone. The bumper was down south somewhere on eBay. That was beat up. With the way it's all set up now with the gold and the black as well, I just think it looks spot on.
Engine swaps are our thing.
Yeah.
How did this come about? Why didn't you go down the typical route of a Renault 5 Turbo in there? Because it'd been far easier.
I'd always had turboed cars, and this was the first NA car. Now, even though it was 70-ish brake, due to the weight of it, it went once you got up there in the high revs, and I'd never had a car where I could kick its head in this much and it'd be bulletproof. So the idea was to put ITBs on the original 1.4. Once I added everything up, I was in for like 1,500 quid, whereas I bought a full Clio for 1,200 quid.
Was it an easy swap? Was it a nightmare?
I'm a novice when it comes to cars. Like, I don't come from a mechanic background, I'm a joiner by trade. As far as engine swaps go, I'm gonna say that it's easy. Gearbox mount and the rear mount, completely standard Campus ones. For some reason of this era of Reynolds, everything's pretty much plug and play.
The future plans for this now? Is it done, or is it,
No.
or is it ITBs?
Yeah, I think it will have to be ITBs, but if I'm putting ITBs on, may as well do 197 cams, and then while you're doing that and the engine's out, you may as well get an LSD, and then it just spirals again.
Spirals out of control, and then before you know it, your 60 grand extension looks cheap.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
So the engine is the thing for me. One of the toughest problems with doing an engine swap in an old classic is to make sure not only it fits right, not only that it does perform well, it basically keeps the whole balance of the car right, because this is going to be a usable road car for the owner to have some fun on a Sunday. Previous guy who had this had all these door cards done, retrimmed in leather with some really nice stitching work, but never really got on to doing the rest of the interior. Rover 820 turbo seats in here. The guy's 23, he won't even remember these seats in the original car. The thing that made me laugh when I got in here, which my lad's looking at me stupid because he don't understand, the retro air freshener. Anyone who's of an age now, who's around my age, will remember the air fresheners from back in the day. The dash is just as I remember from the Renault 5 turbos back in the day, other than it doesn't have the boost gauge in the centre. So it has this black, what's classed as an Emola Renault 5 turbo bumper. Super rare. The owner says there's not much information about this bumper, but if you look, it has this little additional lip at the bottom and it looks stunning. And then also, which is a nice little nod to the 80s, is the yellow fog lights. Anyone who follows 80s rally cars and that type of thing will know everything had the yellow accent pieces. Moving then a bit further back, you have this Clio 16 valve bonnet vent, which has been blended into the bonnet. Nice little touch, and keeping it in the Renault theme, all blends together. You have this refurbished Renault 5 turbo kit, and with the textured paint, this kit actually looks factory fresh. Down the side, which I really like, is the gold logo down the side of the Campus with the 5 on the side as the S. That's basically telling you that it's not a GT turbo replica, it's its own thing. And then moving round to the back, you can see it's had these like plexi logos printed with the Renault logo looking brand new in the gold lettering, and the Campus again with the 5 and the S on the other side, all matching together, all blending in with the full theme of the gold, the black and the red. So you've got it basically with these Renault turbo wheels in a 15-inch in the gold, which again blends into the rest of the colour-coded theme. Then looking at the brake package, because they obviously did the Renault 5 Turbo model, it's on Renault 5 Turbo front brakes and it's on a full Renault 5 Turbo disc back axle. Looking at the suspension setup, it is on full gas coilovers. With the lightness of the car, it just shows you don't need massive brakes and super high spec suspension to still have fun. Has your mum and dad been out in it?
My mum's been in it when it was the 1.4. She won't get in it now.
Right.
My dad's been out in it in both, yeah, and he loves it. I've not had it weighed, but from standard, they were 750, and then this engine weighs an extra 100 kilo on top of what the old one was. So I'm basing it that it's 850. So I think it's about anywhere between 200 to 215 per tonne. It's that induction noise.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Wow.
Like the induction noise, it's like a VVTi. That's the best way I can describe it for no one that's in it. But like you into fourth, into third.
Yeah, when it comes
that
it
NA
does,
is
doesn't
just,
it? Yeah, it does.
That's what, like I said, I've always had turbos,
Yeah.
and I've always you've always been trying to combat how can you get that spiel there like
Yeah.
ASAP. Whereas you get NAs, and like I said, fourth,
Instant power, innit?
third. As soon as I put my foot down.
Oh, that is mega.
Got the NA with the campus, and it was never like this. And then when I put this in, and lads have said like, it's not only, it's the reliability of them as well.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
obviously when we set off, second limiter, third limiter, and it
That's true, yeah.
just takes it.
Takes it, yeah, that's a good plan.
But that NA is just.
Yeah, it's different when
Yeah.
that kicks in, it is.
But the induction noise, once it goes on ITBs,
Oh, that sounds insane.
it'll sound so good.
Oh, it will. Come on. Just pulls, doesn't it? Wow! Feels like 200 miles an hour, doesn't it? It's crazy. I'm just more impressed that you're 23 and you're building these. That's the biggest impression for me, mate.
Academically, I'm not there. I passed my GCSEs, but I hated school.
Right?
And I go out into the world, get an apprenticeship straight from 16. Absolutely love being on site. Love just.
You found your own,
Yeah,
haven't you?
yeah.
You found your meaning in life. I was the same, so my background is I was badly dyslexic, so struggled to read, struggled to spell. So I fully agree with you, but then as soon as you give me something where it's not like reading and writing, anything to do with my hands, I was like, I'm in. And I can vision it 3D in my head,
Yeah.
and I can already see the end goal. Yeah.
That NA is just.
You can hear like the click over little. It's like a VTEC in
Yeah,
it. You can
that's
hear
what I say to everyone.
when it fully opens.
Right, describe it as a VVTi. That's exactly
Yes,
what it's
that's
like.
exactly what it is like. Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
God, that screams, doesn't it? I think it's a bit deceiving with not having a rev counter. So you think it's time to change.
Yeah, and it
Because
just
you can hear the engine, it keeps going. What do they rev to? I7s, 8s?
I'd go 8s, but I know that Tommy with he's had his limiter mapped out, and he reckons he can get it to about 9ish.
Wow.
Yeah, he says it revs to the absolute moon.
You can see it, and I can really see why Clios are very popular for track cars now.
Yeah, there's just so much potential with the engines.
So anyone who didn't see that, he's turned the heating on. As old school boys back in the day, when it used to get a bit warm, you'd put your heating on to pull some additional air out of the engine. God, it screams, this thing. Bloody hellfire.
I'd go too far to say that this is the perfect power to weight ratio for something fun on the back roads. If I went any
100%.
more,
100%.
I'd be touching a line of too much power for
Yeah.
back roads. You're turning it into a straight line
Yeah,
car.
100% you are. Because I grew up obviously on Corsas. So a Corsa with the red top, set of throttle bodies, 180, 200 horsepower was fast enough on the road to have some racing with and have some fun, and enjoyable not to get you in too much trouble down the back roads. You're a dying breed.
Yeah.
This new generation. See, there's a guy there who just stopped in a Tesla and put his thumbs up and waved. Now, no one's ever going to pull over and wave at a Tesla or something modern. It's the appreciation for the old stuff, and that's what I was just saying then. You're a dying breed, and that's why I'm super impressed with your age, because I say you weren't even born when these were around being messed with.
2000 I was born.
Oh, there you go then.
But again, it's the stories from my dad, and then you think, right, I want a bit of that.
Well, you hear the stories and you go, I need to have a taste of this. What's so special about it? Not many young folk are doing this type of thing. That's why this is the big thing for me, is your age and what you're doing, mate.
I love the car, and I love working on it, and like I love driving it. But hearing everybody else's stories and people like that, like I always say to people, don't look for validation in others when you're building stuff, because I built this for me. Some people may not like it, bollocks to them. I like it.
Yeah.
But when someone drives past like that, gives you the thumbs up, you think it was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was worth
and
it.
he's in a, I don't know what the Tesla flipping things are now. What? That's got to be 50, 60 grand.
Yeah.
And he
like
slowed down purposely to go, nice, mate, nice.
The thing is, he could sell that, get
And
a day-to-day
buy
driver.
10 of these. Yeah, 100% he could. Hey, thank you for a go.
No worries.
I appreciate this, and you keep doing what you're doing. This twist of the classic old, bringing it up to modern day standards, I love it. The home built kind of Restomod is an era I can only push forward, and especially when the owner's 23. He probably wasn't even alive when this thing was racing around on the streets. Bringing that modern twist of even down to the logos, which have been CNC'd out of plexi. Drop in the comments, do you think this should be basically restored back to factory, or do you think this is the way these cars should be built? And also, please drop us a sub, because you don't know how much that helps us to be able to go out and find these cars and bring them to you to watch. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Take care, and I'll see you all on the next video.